Session brings us to other business. Item 3.1, summary note, or 13.1, sorry. Aggregate Resources Act, proposed regulatory changes regarding fees and royalties. It's for receipt. Would someone like to move? Moved by Mayor Thompson.
The aggregate.
The aggregate. All right. Councillor Shaughnessy.
Thank you very much. I was just chatting to staff in our 10-minute break, and I let them know that TAPMO, along with Ontario Stone, Sand and Gravel, got together a couple weeks ago to discuss actually the remuneration of, I think it's 19.8 cents or something. Ontario Stone, Sand and Gravel had actually advocated for 53 cents a ton, and the province came back with 19.8. So they're actually going to work collaboratively together to come up with a letter to present before May 1st. I think they're meeting next week, and I wanted to make sure that the region was represented in that by either having a letter that is that supports what the top aggregate producers are coming out with, along with the cooperation of Ontario Stone, Sand and Gravel. And I know they'll be advocating for the 53 cents, which I think should help everybody here at the region, because if anybody looked at that number, it's pretty, I think it's kind of insulting. So I don't know, do we take that as direction? Because I really think the region needs be a voice on this for the May 1st deadline. Any thoughts?
We'll certainly take that as direction.
That would be wonderful. Thank you very much.
All right. So the motion's been moved by Mayor Thompson. Would you second that, Councillor Shaughnessy? Second by Councillor Shaughnessy. All in favor then? Opposed, if any? Carried. Item 13.2, resolution from Mayor Crombie regarding recorded voting at regional council meetings.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So there was a motion in your binders. I gave notice last meeting. Really, this motion just directs staff to prepare a report to let us know how it would work, if it could work, what it would cost. And I just thought that in light of the fact that we have an integrity commissioner now and a lobby registry, this is really that next step to better governance. And when you look at other municipalities that have done so, of course, Toronto does, London, Guelph, and the City of Mississauga does. So with recorded votes, we get more openness, transparency, accountability. Helps us keep track of our votes and lets your residents know as well where you stand on issues in case there's any concern. So I was hoping we could take that step as well and go towards recorded votes. It would mean a change on our, what do we call these panels, dials? Consoles, and probably updated technology. And I am told by our CAO that we need some updated technology here in any case. So I'm looking for some support. Actually, I need a seconder. Oh, Councillor Tovey, thank you, to move forward with this as we have done so, and for consistency as well. We do so in the City of Mississauga. It's been working well. You don't have to put your hand up anymore. You get to press your button. So I'm looking for support. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Sato.
Thank you. As I mentioned when Mayor Crombie raised this, we are convening a meeting of the Procedural Bylaw Committee. Council has appointed a committee to look at any changes to the procedural bylaw, which this would fall under. So I would ask that Council, instead of referring it to staff, that it be referred to the committee that is set up to review this, and that we will bring a recommendation back to Council once we've had staff's information. And it is working very well in Mississauga. I don't know why our system here has not worked. It worked when we first got it, and it would be nice to have it working again. We have used this. This actually has been used in the past. So I hopefully it wouldn't take much to get it working again.
Councillor, do you have a seconder?
To refer it?
Yeah.
Yes, Councillor Shaughnessy chairs the committee, and we would like to see it at the committee.
Okay, now I have a list of speakers, but it should be to the referral only. I'm wondering, do you want to speak to the referral? Yes. Okay, Councillor Groves.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. Unless the mover would take it as a friendly amendment. Instead of moving it to staff, refer it to the committee. Simplify things. Thank you.
Okay, continue with the list then. Councillor Groves.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and to the referral, a great idea, and I think I'm on that procedural bylaw committee anyway. And I believe there's a meeting that we're looking to call in June, so this is a great place for it, and certainly support that motion. And Councillor Sato, you are correct. We used to use those buttons on here to vote on recorded votes. So Mayor Crombie, thanks for bringing this forward. I know Councillor Shaughnessy and myself, Councillor Shaughnessy did bring a motion to our council as well to look at doing that, because it does support transparency and accountability. So I am supporting the referral to the procedural bylaw committee. Thank you.
Councillor Palashi.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll support the referral to the committee. I was just wondering if there would be any consensus to look at a consent motion. I understand that Mississauga has implemented a consent motion. City of Brampton's always had a consent motion for, I don't know, forever. So I'd like for you to look at having a consent to look at a consent portion of the agenda as well, just so that we're not wasting time pushing the buttons and tabulating and all that.
We take that as direction to take back to the committee for the first committee meeting, which is scheduled for June 15th.
Excellent.
Okay. We will need a motion to actually restart that committee. It's been suspended, so to reactivate it. No, in the motion suspended, so it just needs to be reactivated.
I'll move that.
Take it at the appropriate time. Councillor Gibson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The only thing I have no problem referring it back. I have no problem with staff doing a report. One thing that does concern me, and we don't have any experience yet on how this works, is will there be a time delay if everything that we have to vote on, including bylaws, including correspondence, including communications, is there going to be a time? Is it going to delay our meetings? That we turned this down at the City of Brampton only because we thought it was going to be very onerous on the clerk's department and it would delay our meetings. So I'd like to hear whether or not Mississauga's got some experience in it. That's great, and other municipalities do. When the clerk's department reports back, can they let us know whether or not it will be? I mean, if it's a little time delay, so what? Who cares? That's great. But if it's going to be huge, these meetings are long enough. So thank you.
I'm going to ask that Mayor Crombie comment on that as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just so you know, it actually makes things run faster and smoother. And I see sometimes the clerk counting hands, and let's do that again. I didn't quite get that. It's right obvious in about 3 seconds how everybody voted. And if we move forward with that consent agenda as you have, then we take care of all the other items. So I think that actually speeds things up and makes us more accountable all at the same time. Wow.
All right, thank you. Councillor Shaughnessy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was just going to make a suggestion to others here that if there are other items that they would consider some changes in the bylaw, I'd like to be able to have those changes or their recommendations. So, yes, if we can send them to Catherine, I'd appreciate that. So we just can sit down and do it in all one shot, I think. And if we are looking at the recorded vote, I really like how Toronto does it there, and I don't know how that works, but they actually, you can go on their website and you can click on the councillor and actually see every single motion and how they voted. And to me, it's about transparency and accountability and making it easy for residents to check up on us, and I think that's a good thing. So maybe we need to take a look at that. But if you have any other recommendations, please send them to Catherine, and so we can review them all at one time. That would be great. Thank you.
All right. Seeing no other speakers on the list, I think it'd be appropriate before I take Mayor Crombie's motion, I'm going to take a motion moved by Councillor Sato and second by Councillor Shaughnessy to resume the procedure bylaw review committee. So all in favor of that? Opposed, if any? And then the main... We're recording. It's too late now. The main motion as amended moved by Mayor Crombie, and it was seconded by Councillor Tovey, I believe. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. Thank you. Now, 13.3 is a resolution from Councillor Moore regarding weighted voting at regional council meetings. Should have seconded. Oh, Councillor Moore, sorry. And
Yes,
it's, seconded by Mayor Thompson, I believe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you know, we had a conversation a couple weeks ago around this table, and there appeared to be an appetite to at least better understand and explore what weighted voting might look like and how it might work at the region of Peel. And so I committed at that meeting to putting forward a notice of motion to have staff, or to direct staff, to pull together the information. And it was consistent with the recommendations by Justice Adams that recommended back in 2004 a composition of 12, 11, and 5 with a weighted voting system. And essentially, a weighted voting system would give the City of Mississauga the equivalent of 16 votes around the table while not adding additional persons to the one vote weight to both Mississauga, or both Brampton and Caledon's voting. And I think in fairness to the taxpayers in the region of Peel, we need to bring some closure to the issue of governance. There's lots of pressing issues that we're dealing with around this table, whether it's the fair share for Peel or housing or human services. We all know that the issue of governance has been a distraction. So just to clarify, we were not making a decision on weighted voting. It was not my intent that we do that. I thought it was vitally important that we all have the information that we need before us, not asking staff to make the decision or make a recommendation, but to put before us examples of how weighted voting has been used by other municipalities, by other agencies, just because of the complexity that governance often has, depending on the areas of jurisdiction. What's interesting is what's followed since our meeting a couple of weeks ago. The whole issue has taken on a life of its own in ways that I don't think, certainly I didn't intend when putting this forward as essentially a discussion item. It consumed hours of debate, I understand, in Mississauga yesterday, and it certainly did at the City of Brampton. But in many ways, I think it was helpful. It was painful yesterday, but it was helpful. And we learned some lessons, I believe. And that is that every person around this table has an opinion on what governance could, should, might look like around this table at the Region of Peel. And 3 times we've sent the mayors and the chair, and I mean no disrespect to the mayors and the chair, but 3 times we sent you off to come back with some recommendations, and 3 times it's not been successful. I'll avoid using the word failure, but it was not successful. And I think in large part it's because while we were included in the consultation through the facilitation process, we don't feel that our voices were necessarily heard. So I think yesterday at the City of Mississauga, I'm not sure what's happened in Caledon, but certainly in Brampton, there was a fulsome discussion, and I personally felt more heard yesterday than I have, through the 3 times. And I guess that saying goes that we keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. The other comment I want to make is that it's not that Brampton and Caledon have been slow to catch on. I think that, to use Councillor Miles' words yesterday, Brampton and Caledon have been too Canadian. We have never forgotten that Mississauga came to the region kicking and screaming back in 1974. And while Brampton and Caledon have, I believe, and certainly in this case, and just looking in the rearview mirror, what we've looked for is opportunities to find a solution to move forward. And while we're looking for that window, the City of Mississauga continues to look for the door. And by that I mean, I don't think I need to explain it, Mississauga is looking for the door to find their way out of the region of Peel. And Mississauga believes and wants everybody else to believe that they live next door to two very noisy brats. One right next door and one just 2 doors away. And the truth is that I believe Brampton and Caledon really have been the adults in the conversation. We haven't thrown temper tantrums. We've waited patiently for 43 years for things to be right-sized around here. We've done the responsible thing back in Brampton, downsizing from 17 members to 16. And, or sorry, yeah, 16 plus the mayor and to 10 plus the mayor in order to position ourselves in a responsible manner to come here. This isn't about what Mississauga's numbers are around the table or what Caledon's number. This is a Brampton issue, and we understand that. But what's sort of abundantly clear to me is that it's time to bring this whole thing to an end. I'm withdrawing the motion today. For me, Brampton has shown the willingness to find a solution all along, but the solution is not going to be found at this table. So for me, the conversation on governance for the city of Brampton at this table ends today. There will be no more time wasted. We won't waste your time, and quite frankly, we're not prepared to waste any more of our own time on the issue of governance. This is a mess that was created by the province of Ontario. And it's time to lay this problem at the feet of the provincial government and say, you have a responsibility to the taxpayers in the region of Peel to make this right. It is about fairness. It is about proper representation. And Kathleen Wynne and the provincial government need to step up and show the taxpayers in the region of Peel that we are important. All of us, not differently in Mississauga or differently in Caledon. And so they've been the ones that have created it, and they've allowed it to fester, and we're fighting around here about something that we haven't found a way to resolve. So, Mr. Chairman, I'm withdrawing the motion today. I'm going to assume that Councillor or Mayor Thompson will withdraw his second as well. Thank you.
Well, the motion's been withdrawn, so I'm not going to go to the list. But I do want to make one comment with respect to the committee that was formed and remind council, and notwithstanding what you've said, Councillor Moore, but that committee was approved by council. And it was always of the understanding that it would then come back to all of council for debate. And we, as you know, we did also include, as you mentioned, that you were all interviewed by the facilitator as well. So I just want to remind council of that. I'm not going to go to the list because she's withdrawn the motion, so there isn't a motion on the table. Councillor Sato on a point of order.
No, point of privilege.
Oh, sorry, point of clarification.
Privilege.
Privilege? Okay.
Point of privilege, Mr.
Sorry,
Chairman.
I couldn't hear you.
Our council was just insulted, and I take great offense to the councillor from Brampton referring that you and Caledon were the adults here as this has gone through. And, you know, the number of times that the city of Brampton walked out of this meeting, equalized assessment, where our taxpayers were paying millions and millions of dollars, much longer than they should have, because the city of Brampton councillors did not wish to vote for fairness. So, you know, to say that you're being the adults here, I feel very, very insulted for our council and previous councils of the city of Mississauga with what you have said today. When I came in here, I was prepared to support your motion and work with you, but as a member of Mississauga Council, long-term member of Mississauga Council, you've pretty well thrown down the gauntlet today, and I think our council has to respond in kind.
Councillor Palashi.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On item 13.4-1, which is the motion that I have I have moved. I did have a seconder, but that seconder dropped off. And I'd like to also withdraw that motion. And I'd like to just say a couple things to the fact that, you know, I listened to councillors around the table last meeting, and I, like Councillor Moore, saw it in myself to try and resolve a problem. There seemed to be somewhat of a consensus and somewhat of an opportunity for members to have a look at a weighted voted system. In talking to members outside of the chambers, this may have been something that they would have supported. So I took it upon myself. I went back to the City of Brampton, worked with our clerk's office in consultation with this regional clerk's office, and basically took what was said, a little bit of Councillor Moore's motion, put some timelines on it, because bottom line is that we needed to have some actual timelines to get this done before the next election, before the province made their decision. So, and essentially that's the reason why I did it. And just to Councillor Moore's comments and now Councillor Sato's comments, you know, I'm a first-term councillor, but, you know, this is something that weighs on all of our shoulders. I don't think anybody around this table disagrees with the fact that Brampton is underrepresented here at the table. At least I've never heard that. I've always heard that that you say that Brampton should have more seats, whether that's one seat, whether it's four, whether it's taken away from Caledon. You know, really it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, Brampton's underrepresented. You look at what the province is doing now with Rep by Pop. Well, we all know Rep by Pop doesn't work. Its effective representation by population works, and that's the only thing that does work. The provincial government is adding MPPs in the north that don't have the population, but they're still adding them. If we went strictly on Rep by Pop, I think Prince Edward Island at the federal level would be ran by Nova Scotia because of their population. So I think it's always been stated that Rep by Pop is kind of the header, but it needed something else to help it work, and that was the effective representation by population.
Councillor Palacio,
I'm sorry,
you've withdrawn your motion.
I am withdrawing my motion. My last comments to Mr. Chair was to Councillor Tovey. With all due respect, Councillor Tovey, I really appreciate what you have done from the City of Mississauga in putting out there the possibility of coming to a compromise. I can really see that you're somebody that's been around this table a long time, and you realize that there should be a change, and you would like more information as to what that change would look like. And I really, from the City of Brampton's point of view, to you, thank you for your initiative, and thank you for speaking highly of that. And to all members of council around this table, we also thank you for always stating that, you know, Brampton is underrepresented and Brampton needs more representation.
Okay, I've extended the privilege to both you and Councillor Moore,
and I appreciate
although you
that.
withdrew your motion, because to explain why you withdrew it, I give you a lot of liberty in that way. But if the list is to speak to that motion, it's been withdrawn. So I'm going to go to Councillor Tovey.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I would like to withdraw my motion. Thank you.
And thank you for not speaking to it. All right. Not yet. Councillor Gibson.
Here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Oh, sorry.
Must be my gold teeth. Am I on now? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Knowing that the two members from Brampton were going to withdraw today, and I spoke to Mr. Tovey earlier on, and knowing that he was going to withdraw. This morning when we started, I gave the Clerk's Department a motion that I want to put forward. Between the Clerk's Department and legal, they've helped me kind of, not that they're supporting this, but they're helping me kind of draft it, and I know, Mr. Chairman, they put it in front of you too. I wish you wouldn't put it on the screen yet. Please take it off the screen. No, I don't want you to know because Brampton Council hasn't seen it yet. The one I brought in has been changed. The legal helped me change it, and I believe the clerks. So what I'd like to do is ask for a 5-minute recess so that so the council, if I can give it to the rest of Brampton Council before we bring it back.
Okay.
We can do that. We can use it, take it as a notice of motion next time, but I would like my council to see it first.
If you'd, excuse me, if you'd like to recess, then I have to take a motion to recess. Did you want to recess, or did you want to?
I want to recess so the rest of Brampton Council can see
Okay.
the
All those,
changes.
and I'm going to stick to the 5 minutes. All those in favor? To recess. Opposed? Carried. Okay, we're recessed for 5 minutes.
Thank you.
No, we won't get a copy until later.
Councillor Gibson.
Councillor Groves has agreed to second the motion. You can put it on the screen now if you don't mind. And sorry for the delay. I just wanted to make sure all my councillors were okay with the changes that the Clerk's Department and Legal had helped us with. The intent of this is basically to say, we've tried here at the Region Peel. We tried our best, and we can't come to consensus. I think that's fairly obvious. No matter how hard we beat our head against the wall, we've all got our different reasonings why we want certain things, and that's not a knock on anybody. So we put this forward. This is Brampton's position now, and what it's basically saying is we put it back to the province and ask them to do the right thing. And because ultimately, that's where it would have gone anyway, no matter what we did here, it would be back in the province's hands. So I hope you could all support that. Thank you.
So you had indicated.
A point of order, Mr. Chairman. Point of order over here.
Yes, Councillor Perry.
We require a 2/3 vote to open this question. We've already got a position we've passed. Some of us have passed, all of us have passed. It's a position by this council. So to get into a debate on this and to look at this motion, you need 2/3 to reopen it.
Okay, well, you cut me off because I was going to say.
You were going to do that?
Yeah.
Great minds think alike.
Actually, I was going to ask Councillor Gibson, because he had indicated before the recess that he may want to put it on as a notice of motion. So there is a difference. If you put it on as a notice of motion to the next meeting, you don't need the 2/3 vote to put it on as a notice of motion. But if you want to deal with it today, it would take 2/3 of a vote to pass. And as a notice of motion, once it got to council, it would take 2/3 of a motion to pass.
I think it's contrary to a motion that passed here quite a while ago. I think 2 Mississaugas were away. It passed quite handily, actually, by 2 votes. There is a motion on the record that there was a decision made by this council. So I think you need to have 2/3 even to talk about it again.
Well, I'm going to ask.
No. Not yet. It hasn't come back from the province for us to veto
I'm
it.
going to ask the solicitor to comment on that, but I think, no, I believe what I've just said is accurate.
Mr. Chair, I would agree that 2/3 is required to adopt this motion, but not to turn your mind to it.
You've heard from the solicitor. Anyways, Councillor Groves. Councillor Gibson, you didn't clarify. Did you want this to be dealt with today or as a notice of motion? Because you did indicate earlier.
I'd like nothing more than us to stop talking about it, so I'd rather us deal with it today.
Deal with it today? Okay. Right. Councillor Groves.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was happy to support Councillor Gibson's motion, or second the motion, because I too believe that this is something that the province needs to deal with. It never should have ended up here last time. It was taken out of our hands, and I thought that a fair decision was made through Justice Adams. And I think that sometimes when we're involved, logic kind of goes out the window, and so it is better that the folks at the province deal with this. They're hands off. They certainly dealt with the election of the chair without consultation with us. So, they've already set the standard, they've set the precedent that they're making decisions when it comes to this council. So really, at the end of the day, I do believe that they need to deal with this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Sato.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to challenge the decision of the chair on the reopening, and I would ask, I'd like the opinion of the clerk. It's my recollection that the motion that was passed 2 weeks ago continues the process, and this is to change the process. It's to change, and I believe is contrary to what council passed at the previous meeting. So I would like the clerk to look at that motion that was passed and decide whether or not this motion is contrary or not. I believe that it is, and that the previous motion would have to be rescinded before we dealt with this one.
Procedurally, it does not have to be rescinded in order to deal with it, so we can deal with that one first. The contrary in nature, it is contrary in nature to the June meeting that set out particular numbers that were sent to the province. So it is contrary to that, and that's why it would require a 2/3 vote to vote
To reopen.
on this motion.
Because we need to reopen?
We don't have that provision in our procedure bylaw.
Okay.
That is, Mississauga does have that provision in their bylaw. We do not. Ours is to carry a contrary motion requires a 2/3 vote.
So whether it's dealt with today or as a notice of motion and dealt with 2 weeks from today, it would still require a 2/3 vote?
That's correct.
Thank you.
So are you withdrawing the challenge, or you?
Yes, it's been clarified.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Well, I've been waiting for Brampton to challenge me because I had one from Caledon and one from Mississauga already. So.
I've never challenged one
No,
before.
all right. Councillor Sprovieri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I really, truly hope that this council will support this motion to reopen and send this motion to the province for the best of the region. And I'll explain why I say these comments. I believe that the Peel Act, when it was put in place, it was virtually impossible to modify it. The authors, when they put it together, I believe that they put it together in such a manner that that it would be virtually impossible for all three councils to all agree on modifying the numbers of council, or even modifying the process here. And I believe that the province, whoever the author was, did put some provisions in place in the Peel Act that in case we ever came to this kind of situation, there is a way to resolve this matter. And that is that they put into the act that you need at least one person from every council in order to make this council function. So if we reach the point where a council from either Mississauga, Caledon, or Brampton reach the point where they've had it up to here and can't take it anymore, there is provisions of boycotting council meetings. And I'd like to ask the solicitor, if that ever happens, where a council boycotts, would that entail the province to come in and take over and administer the region appeal? Can we find out what would happen if there's a council that boycotts
Councillor
the meeting?
Sprovieri, Councillor Innes has a point of order.
Okay.
Debating the motion that is set before us. You haven't held the vote to discuss whether or not we could debate the motion that is set before us.
Well, I'm encouraging people to vote for this.
I don't
support
follow.
the reopening, to reopen the issue, to reopen.
Yeah, we will be voting on it.
Yeah.
Councillor Gibson made that clear.
So, Mr. Chairman, I think it's a valid question before we decide whether we should reopen the matter or not, because I believe that we're really putting ourselves in the real awkward situation if we say no way, we don't want to. That's it. It's dead. We don't want to go any further. We don't want the province to intervene. But then there's other options that could be followed, and one of them is for Brampton Council to boycott these meetings. And if that happens, I'd like to know what the consequences of that would be. What are the ramifications? And perhaps I'd like to ask that question to the solicitor.
So, Mr. Chair, a boycott would deny quorum to council in accordance with the region's procedural bylaw. It has happened on occasion in the past. If the boycott, we'll call it that, were to be maintained indefinitely, there would be a dysfunction on council and its governance. I have not researched, to be honest with you, what the tools available to the province in that case would be. I believe, and this is subject to confirmation, that there would be options available to the province under the Ministry of Municipal Affairs Act to take remedial steps to deal with that kind of extreme situation.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Councillor Palashi.
Call the question.
What's the question?
Whatever it must be.
Whatever the question is.
Whatever the question is, call it.
All those in favor of calling the question? And it takes 2/3.
What is the question?
The motion that's before you.
For calling the question, to be clear.
Okay, there's a recorded vote for calling the question. Well, no, somebody just moved it, so, I'm sorry, there's a recorded vote. No, for call the question. He has that privilege. Oh, make it clear what you're asking.
Mr. Chairman, I don't want to call a question, I don't want to record what call the question. I'm ready to move forward. I'm asking for a recorded vote on the vote to reopen.
Okay, we don't do that. It was already explained. There's a motion before us to call the question. All in favor, hands up high if you're in favor.
Well, we were told that you need,
Okay, it passes.
we need
The question on the motion, I'm going to read it in case there's someone listening outside these council chambers. It's been moved by Councillor Gibson, seconded by Councillor Groves. Whereas there has been extensive debate at local councils and Peel Regional Council on the topic of regional representation to address inequalities in representation over this current term of council. And whereas numerous attempts, both legislative and non-legislative, including facilitation, to address the issue have yielded in no progress towards a solution. And whereas it is acknowledged that fair representation is not being achieved and that Regional Council is not able to solve this problem. And whereas the authority to resolve this issue lies with the Legislative Assembly of Ontario. Therefore, be it resolved that the process to change the composition of Regional Council under the authority of Section 218 of the Municipal Act 2001, as initiated on June 23, 2016, under Resolution 2016-543, be terminated, and further that the Premier of Ontario and the Minister of Municipal Affairs be urged to decide the composition of Regional Council and implement that decision by means of legislation. You've heard the motion. Oh, it was a recorded vote was asked for. All those in favor?
All those in favor, please rise. Councillor Downey, Councillor Gibson, Councillor Groves, Councillor Innes, Mayor Jeffrey, Councillor Medeiros, Councillor Miles, Councillor Moore, Councillor Palashi, Councillor Shaughnessy, Councillor Sprovieri, Mayor Thompson. All those opposed, please rise. Councillor Carlson, Mayor Crombie, Councillor Fonseca, Councillor Ianica, Councillor Kovac, Councillor Mahoney, Councillor McFadden, Councillor Parrish, Councillor Raz, Councillor Sato, Councillor Starr, Councillor Tovey. As the vote required a 2/3 to carry, it fails.
Inquiries from regional councillors. Oh, I was ready to say seeing none. Councillor Parrish.
I have two. I have one is actually an announcement to let everybody know the Fair Share for Peel, which we're going to be working on a fresher title, has picked Monday, November the 13th as the date of the conference. It's making incredible progress. The staff that's all been sent by Brampton, Caledon, and the region and Mississauga have all done an amazing job. I think you're going to be really pleased. There's a full report coming to the next council meeting which gives you more details, but put down Monday, November 13th. It's closer to the election, too. I think it's going to cause quite a sensation. The second thing I'd like to ask staff to prepare a report for me, but I think everybody around the table will be interested. There's a company called K-Bro, and what they do is they take in hospital laundry. And instead of using disposables, which we're trying to reduce ourselves down to 75% reuse, and whatever, recycle, they actually make up, they sanitize everything. They've got 300 employees. They were in Toronto. They've been lured out to Mississauga by Orlando, without realizing that they now have to pay $1 million in DCs for the conversion of the building. They have 300 employees. They're mostly Mississauga employees. They didn't have to pay those sorts of costs when they were in Toronto. So I'd like two things. I'd like to know what other jurisdictions do for companies that are doing that kind of work. We're zoning them retail. I believe they should be zoned industrial. They were industrial in Toronto. At the very least, Orlando should be paying this because they didn't explain it to the people that came out here. It's a big corporation. It's in my ward. It also helps our waste management objectives. So I would like to see what our rationale is for hitting them up as commercial instead of industrial. They even put special packages together for hospital rooms for specific doctors who don't want purple hats. They want their own packages done. They do it for Trillium. They do it for most of the hospitals in this area. It's very unique. They also salvage $250,000 worth of lost instruments a year and send them back to the hospital. So they're an amazing company. I would like them to come and delegate, but if it's not necessary, I would like to see how we're justifying their being commercial and what other jurisdictions do that are close to us.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Thompson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I just thought out of fairness, last night I was at the GTA Mayors and Chairs. So I thought it's only appropriate to bring what the outcomes are. Well, we've been asked to do something as all mayors and regional chair that we need to report back to the Premier. The Premier called us for within an hour because they had to get back to the House to sit. The first thing is on Mayor McCallion's proposal. They're looking very hard at setting a delayed time frame on implementing the transition. So they're looking at that. Stay tuned, there's more coming. But the main focus of the meeting was the Premier was asking us what solutions that we had in our toolbox that we could advance more housing into the market because there's lack of housing in the market. The mayor of Oakville, said that he has a lot of applications ready to go, biggest ever, about 8,000, and nothing's happening. Where I think the rest of us are all saying, well, no, that isn't the case. We're trying to get stuff out as quickly as possible, and we're getting calls from the development industry how we can expedite. So there was a lot of things kicked around on how to streamline processes. Actually, and I did not have the numbers myself. I didn't speak up on this, but I know a lot of them felt that NEPTUS was wrong. It maybe had Toronto inaccuracies, but they felt, especially for York and Durham region, they were really wrong. So the Premier's asked to come from the region, but all of us as municipalities to say how much employment land and how much residential land that we have shovel ready that's ready to go, because they need to understand that and what they can do to expedite. We pushed back and we definitely said, be cautious. You start to handcuff the industry. Look at what happened in 1988, 89 when that forced the crash, and it was just a tipping pot, and it took years to recover. So you kind of got to let the market work its way through. But I guess what she was asking us is how can we help them and find ways to get more land readily available to get more housing into the market, because they know it's not something that can't be fixed. It's going to take some time, but what are the quick wins, the low-hanging fruits? So I just thought as Mr. Chair, and I know the mayors were all busy, I just thought at least I should report back that that's what's expected from us.
Okay, thank you for that. Councillor Palashi.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To my council colleagues, friends, there's a man behind that wall that has been here for 3 years, and he's moving on. He's the one that makes us all look good on camera. So he's the guy that you walk by the office and everybody says, hello, how are you today? And it's a quick chat because we're busy, but he's moving up in the world. He's going out to Hamilton. So Asim Manji, if we could get him out here just to say thank you, if that's possible, that would be fantastic. I'm not sure if we can. He does my makeup as well, yes. There he is there. Thank you so much. he makes us at Brampton City Council on Wednesdays look pretty good as well. So, and he does wonders for you, regional councillors around the table. Thank you, Nassima. Good luck in your future endeavors.
Yeah. Well done, Councillor Palash. Councillor Gibson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have an inquiry, and I'm not trying to be a smartass here, but I'd like to know what this item is for. Inquiries from regional councils. Because it seems to me that from what I've seen happen around here a lot is council members asking for staff to report back on things in this item. Are we allowed to do that under inquiries without a vote on the rest of council asking staff to report back?
Well, it was actually, that's what council asked, and I think it's very comparable to what's done in the city of Mississauga, so.
Well, it's not what's done in Brampton.
No, yeah, no, and I'm
I
not
thought
challenging that.
what it was for was to ask for inquiries, staff would answer them, but not, if we needed direction for staff to report back, we should be voting on that direction to report back, in my opinion, because it's very onerous on staff every time they have to put a report together, and yet, I guess I could just come here and ask all kinds of inquiries on my own.
No,
ask staff to report
you've
back.
raised a good point. You should be.
But this is,
okay.
Mr. Chairman, this has been continued, this has been happening a lot.
All
And I
right.
think I just heard a couple of minutes ago, staff has to bring back 3 reports, and I didn't get a chance to even vote on whether or not I
Okay,
want them
no,
to bring back those 3 reports.
Fair point.
So can we look at that and,
Yep, yeah, no, fair point.
thank you.
Councillor Carlson, you had a comment?
Just on that, because the school board was exactly the same way, I the trustees remember, and the counterpoint to that was, and 1 more puppy and 2 more trucks, and then at some point, somebody goes, that's actually a bit of money to do all that, you better have a motion, so it works up, we do it so often that it's been a while since we had to check anybody on that, too. That if it is quite a laundry list, then the counselor is quite correct.
Yeah.
But if it's, could you tell me the difference between A and B?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to watch that.
Today's meeting, there'll be no reports coming back until we have a vote on it? One member of council doesn't.
No, that's correct. Yeah. David, did you want to comment?
An observation, Mr. Chairman. I've sat on this desk for, I think, 11 years now, and before that I sat over there for 10 years, and before that, well, I don't want to go back too far. And in that entire time, the habit of council has been quite often to say, can staff report back on that? Yeah. Individual councillors. Well, all we've done is sort of consolidated it to the end of the meeting, but it happens throughout the meeting and always has. And it's only if it's a major issue or requires a lot of work will staff say, well, hold on, or if it's contrary to a direction of council, would we raise a concern from the staff position? But it has been the nature of business for this council for as long as I can remember. So I just point that out.
Mayor Crombie.
Okay, so 3 points then. So on this, I think Councillor Gibson, where this originated from, on the Mississauga agendas, we have inquiries of staffs. I guess sometimes we give direction, but on bigger items, you need a motion. And then we have announcements and new business where we can promote what's going on in our wards or across the city, and we share the news with everyone as had been done earlier. So that's where that comes from. I think that was the sentiment in which, I think it was Councillor Parrish, she brought this on the agenda to mimic what we do or mirror what we do in Mississauga. So not to make it onerous on staff, but if there was a general inquiry that could help everyone understand something, that was sort of the pretext of why this was on the agenda. On the mayors and chairs meeting yesterday, I was not able to attend because it was called with 48 hours notice, and we celebrated the Hazel McCallion exhibit yesterday, Do Your Homework, and gave Hazel the keys to the city. So that's where Mississauga councillors were, where I was yesterday. But I do know, because we did debrief, that it was the 2 topics being discussed, the 2 issues were how to cool off the housing market and the growth plan. Now, on the growth plan, I myself support, and I know my council does as well, because we meet or exceed the targets being proposed. I know Mayor Tory is in support. I know Mayor Bevilacqua and Mayor Parrish and Mayor Burton all support as well. I won't speak for Mayor Jeffrey, but I think she's supportive as well. I'll let her speak for herself. And I have indicated in the past that we have 28,000 units in the pipeline ready to go, and another 28 to 30,000 that will be available very, very soon. And that's just res. I haven't even looked at employment. Yeah, they'll get those numbers from us. And on the tools for the cooling off the housing market, the kind of tools they're looking at, you might see in the provincial budget, which was announced for April 27th, foreign home buyers tax, vacant home tax, a suite of tools that are being considered. So we can take that back to our councils for discussion if any of that we feel like we can support or not. Thank you.
Thank you. You failed to say, though, that you gave her the keys and then changed the locks. Councillor Parrish.
Oh, wow. I'm going to keep my mouth shut on that one. To Councillor Gibson, the Orlando people, the reason I asked for this is it's definitely a policy issue. I don't think it's going to require a lot of time because Dave Schwartz already met with Orlando. I've met with them. Our mayor's met with them. They've met with everybody. So it's a very simple task to find it out and report it back to us. If you're more comfortable, I'd be happy to have them delegate council here in 2 weeks, and then we can all decide on what we think's right for them. But I thought with Dave Schwartz being able to just bring back a quick report, I might be able to do it that way. But whatever you're comfortable with, because I'm here to cooperate with Brampton.
Councillor Gibson, you've raised a really good point, and I'm going to ask that we refer that to the Procedure Bylaw Committee to come back with a formalization of it, if that's acceptable.
Then meantime, I'll get them to delegate our council in 2 weeks.
We need to vote on that.
Vote on.
We'd have to vote on having the delegate come because there's nothing on the agenda already. So you would have to vote on that.
But she's not. Oh, you're asking for the delegate to come?
I'm asking, is it possible to have them delegate in 2 weeks at our
Oh,
next
okay.
meeting?
Okay, you'd have to put that in the form of a motion, which you are.
Which I am.
And we need a seconder. Mayor Crombie, all in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. Councillor Paleschi.
Just to Mayor Crombie, some clarification. By my numbers and the research that I had done, Brampton and Mississauga both underachieved their targets. Are you indicating that you have overachieved?
I said we meet. Yeah, we're talking about different things.
My
Both
apologies.
targets,
Okay.
yeah, that's right.
And then this format, just to maybe bring everything to a closer, so I can't request staff to report back on what the composition of council would look with only six members from Mississauga?
Now you're just messing. Yeah. Angie, turn that mic off.
Yep.
Councillor Gibson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just very briefly, what I brought up wasn't about Council Parish, but today's items. It's been happening a lot. I've noticed it a lot lately. And Mayor Crombie, I have the floor. Thank you. I just think that we should be given direction on these things and not just openly. I could bring a ton of things here. Any one of us could. But I just don't, in Brampton, we don't do it that way, and maybe because we're so perfect, I don't know, in our own minds.
I wouldn't go that far.
But I just think, I think we need to rein it in a little bit, and to David, that may be the way it's been done, but it
Yeah.
doesn't make it right.
No, well said, and I think that's why.
And I'm just trying to help staff here,
Yeah.
and, I mean, the things that Councillor Parrish brought up today were good things. I wouldn't have voted against them,
Yeah.
but I think we just need to rein it in.
No, well said, and that's
Thank
why
you.
we'll refer it to the committee. Thanks. Okay, motion by Councillor Innes, seconded by Councillor McFadden, that bylaw 23-2017 to confirm the proceedings of Regional Council at its meeting held on April the 13th, 2017, and to authorize the execution of documents in accordance with the Region Appeal bylaws relating thereto, be given the required number of readings, taken as read, signed by the Regional Chair and the Regional Clerk, and the corporate seal be affixed thereto. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. Motion by Councillor Shaughnessy, seconded by Councillor Moore, that the April 13th, 2017 Regional Council meeting be adjourned. All in favor? Carried. Too late. And to remind those on the Hanlon committee to meet, it's actually meeting in my boardroom. Thanks.